I've been thinking about this for a while. Do you think we have to feel that we belong to the gender roles that society assigns to us?
Well, we have to start by defining what the concept of belonging is. Belonging is the ability of a person to feel accepted within a social group. One of our most fundamental emotional demands as humans is a sense of belonging. The concept of belonging is intriguing because it encompasses both a social construct and a visceral sense of affinity to a group or location.
When we conform to the norms of the social systems around us, we become part of a group, and as a result, the group members reward us with social security. Now that we have defined belonging, we need to define gender roles. According to Professor Sandra Bem, gender stereotypes are a set of preconceptions about the role of particular gender in society. These characteristics are then attributed to every person of that gender, often causing harm and distress to individuals. Gender roles perpetuate inequality and greatly affect minorities who are not in a position to reject these stereotypes.
I agree. As our theories about gender and behavior developed, Bam reevaluated the concept of psychological androgyny. Rather than promising liberation from cultural stereotypes for people of her own gender, she began to see the concept as suggesting that individuals actually contain both sets of cultural stereotypes.
Another important name I would like to mention in this regard is Simone de Beauvoir. In her famous work, The Second Sex, she criticizes that humanity is masculine and that women are not seen as an autonomous being and are always defined according to men. She underlines this situation with the statement, man is the subject, the absolute, and woman is the other sex. The blame for women being the other or second sex lies not with women, but with a male-dominated society. Simone's following words express the situation in a striking way. We take a woman and lock her in the kitchen or the dressing room, and then marvel at the narrowness of her horizons.
Since we are on the subject of marginalization, I would also like to talk about the consequences of the pandemic we have recently experienced. The pandemic has caused severe displacement in the lives of many women laborers, particularly the poor and neglected, and has brought the chronic crisis in their daily existence to unprecedented levels. Evidence from the field points to desperate times for women workers facing severe unemployment, declining incomes, and unfavorable working conditions.
Women have long faced exclusion and precarious employment opportunities, resulting from anti-women attitudes in the workplace, due to a failure to acknowledge and address deep-rooted structural fault lines that lead to systemic failures.
Now, the question that arises in mind is, can women feel a sense of belonging to a society which prevents them from gaining their own economic independence? So, how does philosophy view the situation in relation to all that we've talked about?
I would like to talk about this a little bit. Social changes that have emerged throughout the historical process have brought along various problems that have been discussed, and one of these issues is the concept of gender. Many philosophers have discussed various ideas about what women and men are, the place these two genders will take in social order, how they will develop their unique talents in society, and what women's rights are, in the context of comprehensive discussions at different times.
However, the common point of such philosophical discussions is that they are generally shaped within the framework of approaches in which women are ignored or relegated to the second class in the face of men. And these are expressed in sexist and racist discourses. Supporting this, the history of humanity can be defined as civilization is basically the history of domination of nature and women. To round up, what is our proposed solution?
Well, the condition of femininity affects a woman's relation to the possibility of freedom in her existence. But she is not destined to imminence. Indeed, the condition of womanhood is not only ambiguous, but also conflicted, since the continuation of this condition is in the fundamental desire and interest of the male subject who benefits from it. But the woman also wants to realize her existence. So, what are the open paths for women to realize their existence in the state of womanhood?
Which of these paths lead her to a dead end?
How can independence be achieved independence, and what are the conditions that limit her freedom, and can she go beyond them?
When a woman is defined as a wife and a mother, her existence is not understood primarily in relation to herself, based on herself. When freedom is defined only as freedom from the historical and social oppression of the other, we have a negative definition of freedom. Of course, we have to fight against pressure and oppression, but the aim of the struggle is to achieve freedom in a positive sense. That is, to reveal one's existence in the world by expressing oneself in a creative, world-building way.
But can this historically established absolute otherness not be transcended? Women ceasing to be the absolute other, to be recognized as a morally free person, a subject like men, is a symbolic struggle as well as a struggle for economic independence. Let's assume that the woman has a place on earth as a respected wife of the man. Would she not be chained to that place because she lacks rights and economic independence? Even if a woman has economic independence and freedom in a world where man is the master, would this freedom not be hollow if she cannot reshape the world in accordance with her own values? To put it in the language we use today, if there is no gender equality, such freedom is for nothing.
So what you're saying is, the goal is neither to have rights in the abstract, nor merely to gain economic independence. The goal is to make freedom actual, active, world-building. Freedom is the establishment of one's own essence in the moment of one's existence, and its manifestation on the world. Freedom is not just about overcoming obstacles to freedom, nor is it just an inner feeling. It is a matter of establishing oneself in the world, establishing relationships, shaping the world. It emerges through the reflection of one's relationships and the world in which one lives.
So we can close it off by saying we are opposed to the fact that the roles of masculinity and femininity have a fate-determining effect in society, and we think that this relationship should be redefined. In this context, we believe that belonging to traditional roles subordinates women in society, and that being confined to gender roles prevents the development of female subjectivity or autonomy.